What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The David Lopez Show, presented by Passion Park ENT. You know what it is. I tried to still bring a similar level of enthusiasm to, previous weeks, so you have some level of normalcy for my listeners here, but it is nothing normal about this week. I think you all know that. I don't think you're coming to me for your news updates about the coronavirus and about this whole situation and about everybody being quarantined. But I'm here for some other stuff. I'm here to talk about that in a little bit. I mean, we definitely have. You can't have a podcast and not have something related to that. I mean, this is what's going on. It's one of the craziest situations I've ever lived through in my entire life, and I think most people could say that. Maybe people a little older, not quite as much, but. Maybe even then, because this is just such a crazy situation that's going on right now. So a lot of us are at home, a lot of us are chilling. As those of you who are watching can already tell that I have a little bit of a setup, a little bit of a different setup here. I mentioned last week on the show that I was waiting for her to try to gear up on this podcast and get some new stuff, and I finally did. So this week will be the first week that we got some new gadgets and some new toys to play with, and we're going to utilize them. We're going to utilize them today, as I have some guests that I'm going to call and talk to about some things kind of coronavirus related, and just so we have something to talk about what's going on. Obviously this is a show where I talk about everything, a lot of my career stuff, but I also talk about sports a lot, and the sports world has really been put in a pause or a stop mode right now because there's really greater things to worry about. So that makes it interesting. But with that being said, this is a sports show, so I still try to find things to talk about, and I have some cool topics. So stay tuned. And the one league that has kept going is the NFL, because they haven't had games, but they've started free agency. So there has been a bunch of news. The Bears have some news, so I'm gonna get into talking about that. But before I do that, I just want to say, I usually start off with some like sponsors or ads or whatever for my shows or for my music up top. With everything going on, I think, some of you guys know, if not, I've been in the service industry throughout my entire career as an artist. That's, how I've survived. And it's been a great, it's been whatever. A lot of people who are artists are in the service industry. I don't need to like brag about that. It just is what it is. I've been bartending for, 8-9 years, whatever it is now, 8 years. Long story short, this issue has really affected us, obviously. So income is a little bit different as I'm trying to support myself, but I'm not even trying to. We're gonna get into that because I have somebody calling that we're gonna talk about that. But the main thing I want to say to you is a great way to show support to me in this time would be to listen to any of my projects, download any of my albums, buy any merch online, anything like that. Directly supports me and our business and Passion Park ENT here, and keeps us moving through during tough times. And plus, I just make the music just because I love making music and I want you guys to hear it. So hopefully you can just get, you have some time to yourself, maybe get a chance to listen to my music. So go to www.thedavidlopez.com. That's where you can find all of my new music. Obviously no show dates right now, but you can find merch. You can find my music videos. You can find all that stuff right now. So please go do that. My newest song, Shoot or Shoot, that came out February 28th. Yeah. It was right at the end of the month. Right. So, that was my newest song. That has been out. It's been streaming for, the past couple of weeks. Hope you guys get to listen to it, enjoy it. For those you don't know, I'm on this path where I've been dropping a new song every month since last July, I want to say. So always new content. Plus I've already got 4 albums out. So I got like 70 songs on streaming services. Best believe with this quarantine time, there's probably going to be some music coming out for me. I just haven't made any announcements, but, yeah, so stay tuned. And then where if you want to find more about our business and just more about our events and all that stuff, obviously nothing posted right now, but in general, go to www.passionparkent.com. Sorry, man, I got a couple burps here. I've had a couple cocktails. When you're literally quarantining by yourself for like 48 hours, like I have been in this crib by myself because my wife's out of town working. It's, you gotta have a couple drinks here and there. Anyways, go to www.passionparkent.com. There you can also support, you can find all of our music videos. All of my music's still on there too, but mainly it's like our videos. So like for every single album of mine, I've dropped an accompanying video project. For my first album, Preacher Son, there was 3 music videos, traditional but like really good music videos, right? And actually, shout out to Mark Morgan. He's gonna be on later. He's the director of those videos. But anyways, second album was so much more. I made a web series that included most of the music and throughout the whole project. And then my third album was Direct Deposit. Made a short film that went with that. Made a little web series, making like behind the scenes web series that went with that. So I did all that. And then my most recent album, So Much More 2, which came out last year, May 22nd of 2019. I got this like short film that goes with it as well. It's a documentary short film though. It's not a narrative. It's a little bit different. Well, there is a story to it, but I'm gonna be dropping that during this quarantine time as well. So stay tuned for that. I was gonna announce a release date, but I don't have the release date for sure because I was doing some final edits. But I'm gonna be releasing that very soon. So stay tuned. Basically just stay tuned with all my stuff. Follow me at _David Lopez or follow at Passion Park ENT. Just to stay tuned during this time because we're gonna be providing content during this time of chilling at the crib. So many people seem to be struggling with being able to chill at the crib. And I'm not saying it's great, you got to go out, but I'm kind of used to this as an artist. Like, I'm used to going to work, but if I have no shifts, when I was like, if I have like 2 off days in a row, shit, a lot of times I'll be at the crib for 2 days working on music and shit. So I'm kind of used to this in a certain way. But yeah, anyways, all right, that's all kind of my announcements up top. I want to get into the show. I got some fun stuff to talk about. Let's get into it.
David Lopez is the name. It's my show. Welcome to it.
Yeah. So I'm not going to act like that's not cool, man. I got this new board where I even got the board with sounds on it. So I just played that little theme song just by pressing that. This shit is dope as fuck. I'm so happy. And speaking of dope as fuck, I'm going to start off the episode before I get into a lot of the sports stuff. I was mentioning some of the service industry stuff and how we're dealing with some stuff. I'm going to call a friend, my guy, Frankie. He's in the service industry. I'm on the bar side and I'm dealing with how that is. He's on the kitchen side and he's dealing with how this situation is. And I just want to give him a call and, see what he's up to during this quarantine. See what he's got to say about the whole situation. It's we're all dealing with it. So let's see what's up. This is gonna be our first guest on the Passion Park Hotline. Yo, can you hear me?
What up? Yep.
What's up, my man Frankie? I just want you to know that you are the first guest on the Passion Park Hotline right now.
Oh shit! I know how that highlight bling.
You know how that hotline bling. How's this quarantine treating you right now? How you doing?
Trying to last a while. It's like only day 3 and it feels like 2 weeks.
Oh, see, I was just talking about how it's being by yourself. It's different right now. Everybody's trying to figure it out.
Okay, so this is the hotline bling.
This is the hotline bling. You're on. Do I sound funny to you? Do you sound like you're on the radio right now? We're recording.
Yep. Coming to you live.
Exactly, man. Yeah, you're the first guest, so I'm so happy this thing's working out well. So I got a couple of things I want to ask you real quick, and then I got to talk about some stuff, and I got to give a call to Mark in a little bit.
For sure.
So first though, I was just mentioning how, I'm dealing with it on the bar side as a bartender, dealing with this whole situation. But as somebody who works in the kitchen, how's this situation going for you guys? In Chicago they had to close everything down, right?
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Like, probably more than half of the people here are being affected by it.
I think you're right. I feel like a city like Chicago is like just like filled with restaurants. Like, I wonder what the percentage of people that work in restaurants is.
Shit, it's probably like more than half.
It's got to be so high, right? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I know the one thing that they were trying to do, a lot of restaurants are trying to tell everybody to file for the unemployment thing real quick. But didn't you say like that thing crashed and that might be a situation?
Yeah. So for like the first couple of days, the website crashed, and then they decided to close the offices where you're supposed to file, so people really can't get a hold of that or sign up to get it. So it's like everyone's like struggling and going crazy for that.
No, it's tough because people got to make a living. This from being in the industry. The thing is, like, you're so reliant upon like quick money that when quick money just stops that fast, that's got to be like a shocker to people.
Yeah.
Fucking have you heard? I said fucking. Have you heard? They're talking about like they might actually give us some moolah. I know they were talking about they might give everybody some money. What would that would help you out, right? Or what do you think? Do you think
that would help everybody out? Hell yeah, because people right now just like their income's about to stop for like a whole month. So anything that they can get is like helpful, really helpful for them.
No, I think you're right. I think they were talking about $1,000, and like honestly, if this thing lasts, I mean, we don't know how long it lasts. I mean, that's gonna help a lot of people.
Yeah. So the governor said supposedly bars and restaurants were closed till like March 30th or whatever that is, but everybody else around the world are saying like it's gonna be like four more weeks or 8 more weeks.
Right. Well, yeah, they haven't announced like yeah, exactly, because they're saying March. Everybody's saying March 30th, so I'm like, maybe we'll start
Yeah.
working, but we're definitely not gonna start working that.
I doubt it. No way.
Yeah, I wonder how long. I mean, there's no real timelines for this. Like, this is
Because
crazy.
if you see like the other places that got affected huge, they're barely recovering and they're still on lockdown. We haven't even reached lockdown yet.
Right, right, and yeah,
Before
no,
the lockdown comes a curfew, we're not even at the curfew part yet.
I know, yeah, because
So
then
there's like
San Francisco started
4
the curfew.
stages of that. Yeah,
Oh wow,
we're
dude.
barely on like stage 1.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, this thing keeps getting worse. It's hard to predict. We don't really know. So how do you feel? Do you feel like people around you are taking it serious?
You can see and tell like everybody around here.
But
Like,
what about like your family? Like, do your parents? Do you feel like they're taking it serious?
oh yeah, I've been talking to them. I've been telling them like, don't go out, stop doing this, don't go. If you do go out, make sure you like take gloves or wash your hands or
Yeah.
cover up and stuff like that, But everyone is like, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear because that's those are the people were worried about. I was a little worried because I was a little frustrated with my dad. I felt like he was like I feel like some people they're like I've seen all this shit. Like whatever, what is this? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Some people are like, no, this is nothing. I'm gonna do everything normal. But if you can save it and stop it, why not?
yeah, that's what they're saying. Like some of these other countries, like so Italy didn't stop, so then their shit just kept growing. But like South Korea, I think everybody just stopped going out for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This shit is wild.
Yeah, it's insane. But it's like some big companies that, well, I'm not gonna say that they care, but some big companies don't really care. They just like, okay, whatever, we can't do anything. We're just not gonna pay you guys or all this other stuff. But some companies, they're like more local and more like small. They're trying to find anything they can do to help their employees. Like if they had leftover food, they
Right,
like pack
they're
it
really
up.
stepping up. They're really here. Are you doing
Yeah.
this on purpose? Here, I'll accept this. Let's see if it flips.
Restaurants are
Yeah.
doing like family meal stuff. Oh shit.
Yeah,
No.
so I can't get his FaceTime on the podcast, but now he's FaceTiming so he can see me as I'm talking to him. But yeah, no, it's wait. So is the restaurant that you work at? You guys aren't doing to go food?
We ain't doing shit. Hell no.
No?
The new management that we got, they just didn't really care that much.
Well, they must be looking at the numbers and being like to go food wouldn't even be worth it to keep it open. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are not doing that great also because they're not getting much business.
Well, yeah, of course. They're trying to tell people right now, like order to go food, but like people are trying to save their money. So like, why would they be ordering to go food? Like,
yeah, because like no one knows from now and within a month when their next paycheck.
Exactly. So you don't want to just be ordering fucking $10 meals every day. Like, yeah, it's
and
tough.
now the restaurants and the bars are even offering their liquor and their wine and their beer to sell
Oh, really?
at like discounted rate. Yep.
Oh shit. Well, that's kind of a different
to make
story. If I can
make
get
it part of delivery.
if I can get some beer delivered, that's kind of a different story, man.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's never happened.
Bro, that's decent as fuck. That's not bad.
50% off.
Bro, you know the one thing that's crazy about this is that like this is the most equipped we've ever been. Like if people are gonna quarantine, right now is the most equipped we've ever been. Like we can get everything delivered.
Yeah, every day they're coming up with new strategies and new ways so they can like sell things.
Well, I heard Grubhub. I think they're going no fee.
Yeah. Also, like, what's the delivery thing? Lyft and Uber.
Oh yeah.
Doing like whatever the fee is, or like no contact with no share rides.
No share rides. Yeah. Well, definitely not. That's like enclose the car. Like yeah.
Yeah, but it's insane though.
Yeah, it's wild out here. Wait, what was I gonna losing my train of thought now? Oh, you know what I was gonna say is well, so we're so equipped now to be able to handle this because like earlier I was on a FaceTime call with you and our other friend and we were like basically smoking. We basically had a session on the phone. Like it felt like we hung out earlier.
Hell yeah. That was high shit.
So if there's any time in our life that we could do a quarantine, I think right now might be the best time.
Yeah, because everyone's listening also, so they're pretty much staying in. So if like when this like curfew or like this like no going out effect starts, everyone might be going a little insane because they've been already inside for these past like 4 days.
Yeah, that's
Might
true. Well, some people like us have already been listening, right? So we're already in. But there's some people that are out right now that aren't out because they don't believe it, and then they're gonna go in, late.
Yeah, they're probably like infecting people, or they're getting.
Yeah, all those fucking kids in spring break, all those kids at spring break in Florida and shit.
Wait, there's still people in spring break?
You didn't see that? There was like all these videos of people on spring break in Florida, like on the beach yesterday. It was like a lot of people. Yeah, it's fucked up.
I haven't seen that.
Fucked up, and Florida's filled with like older people too, so it's really, really not a good situation. Yeah, that shit's crazy. So we're hoping we all get back to work sooner or later, but we have no idea, so we got to figure out how this situation is gonna work. I mean, what if just from now on? Well, not from now on. But what if after this, like everybody just always orders in and like people just stop going out?
Yeah, hell no. It's gonna be like a big ass party.
Yeah, no, it's never gonna happen. I think people are gonna miss human contact.
Yeah, but they should though. Like at least this is like helping the earth right now because all those cars are not been driving, all those exhausts and all that shit.
That's a good point. I mean,
it's like helping,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard for a lot of people to stay still because they're so used to moving so fast. But maybe it's gonna be good for everybody to just stay still for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but it's hard. Fucking day 3, this shit sucks already.
Right. Day 3.
I've been doing so many dishes all day, like it's fucking ridiculous.
That's hilarious. I've organized my house like all day. Mandy was like, "Oh, you organized?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's what happens if you're quarantined."
Yeah, you gotta make some time to do some shit.
And then you feel like you did a job, and then you feel like you're accomplished, so then you can have a drink.
Yeah, I've been drinking. Oh, I had like some leftover wine, and I made a big ass batch of sangria.
Ooh, how is it?
It's good.
I see you.
Yeah.
I'm drinking a little Jameson and ginger ale right now. You know how I do.
Oh, did you hear that Jameson donated like thousands of dollars to like the beer organization, like the bartenders?
Yeah, I did see that. They love their bartenders. So that's why I drink JMO. That's why I drink JMO, son.
That was insane. I was like, holy shit.
Hey, so wait, before I do gotta give a call to Mark soon first, but before I do all that, let me get, what are you watching during this quarantine? Give me some suggestions of things to watch. It's gonna be a long thing. What are you gonna watch?
So don't watch food things because it's gonna get you hungry.
Oh, that's a great point.
And you want to taste some things, and you're like, I want to buy this or order this, so that's not a good thing.
That's right. That's a good point.
Like watching something that'll make you laugh or make you learn something, it's good,
Okay. Oh yeah, learn educational things so you're not wasting your time completely.
Yep, exactly.
You gotta
if you watch like food documentaries, that's just like, man, I want to order something. I'm hungry. It's making me, that's what we've been doing. I'm like, man, fuck this. We can't be watching anymore.
Can't keep doing it. So what are you watching right now? Are you watching any shows or anything like that?
Just pretty much watching like a little bit of everything, but right now I'm just watching Disney Plus.
Oh snap!
Can't go wrong with old Disney movies,
that's a good point. I don't even have Disney Plus yet. I gotta get it.
I'm watching the new Aladdin with Will Smith in it and shit.
Oh, the new one? I haven't seen. How is it? How we doing? How is it?
It's good. He's rapping and dancing and shit. It's fucking good.
All right, maybe I'll have to give Aladdin a chance.
It's good, yo. But like, stay away from like the food shows or like the food like movies and stuff like that.
I love it. That is the advice from Frankie. Stay away. See, this is so hilarious because you work in the kitchen. I called you specifically to ask about the kitchen, how you're dealing with this quarantine stuff, and you said don't watch kitchen stuff, don't watch food stuff. That's funny.
Don't watch food stuff. No, stay away from it.
Oh man. All right. Well, I appreciate you being the first guest on the Passion Park Hotline.
Hell, I know one that holla bleep.
Hey, all right, bro. I appreciate you. All right, be smooth.
Later.
Yep. All right. Shout out to Frankie for picking up and being an awesome guest on the David Lopez show. That's our first phone guest. How about that, guys? See, I told you I got some things in the works here. Well, we got another phone guest that I'm gonna phone in here pretty soon. He told me to give him a call in a couple of minutes, so we'll see if that's ready. Not quite yet. But before I get into that, I said there was gonna be some Bears news, baby, and the Bears did it. So last week I was like, oh, it sounds like we're gonna get Andy Dalton. This fucking sucks. We got Nick Foles. That news just came through today. The Bears traded a 4th round pick to the Jaguars, and they got Nick Foles and his $21 million contract. I don't know. Am I excited? I don't know. It's okay. It's whatever, I guess. I mean, I do think that we're a better team than we were last year, just having another quarterback. I mean, he's better than Mitch. I mean, is Mitch going to even be on the roster? Is he going to start? Are we going to trade him? What are we going to do here? I think we're going to keep both. I think they're going to say it's going to be a competition. It's going to be one of those situations. I think there's a chance that both of them start games throughout this whole season. I mean, the likelihood that Nick Foles starts all 16 games is pretty low. He's never really that healthy. And then the likelihood that Mitch doesn't lose his job to somebody that's probably better than him is probably low as well. So I think there's chances of both of that. But I think we made a good. I don't know. We made the best deal we made was this Robert Quinn signing. He was a D end on the Cowboys last year, and now he's on the Bears. And now it looks like our defense is gonna still be doing his thing. So that's exciting stuff right there. And then the Jimmy Graham signing, just a weird signing. So we get Nick Foles and Jimmy Graham, just some 30-year-old players. I don't know. But Bears. So I mean, we made some moves, I guess. Whatever. I wish we would have made a call to Tom Brady's agent, as I've been talking to for how long. With that being said, Brady did what pretty much nobody thought he was going to do until about a week ago. He went to the Buccaneers. Tom Brady signs with the Buccaneers. I mean, for the NFL's free agency came at obviously a terrible time in the world and what's going on with coronavirus. But for them, they're the only sport that's going right now, and they have been having just a lot of shit going on free agency wise, almost like the NBA. With Brady, I mean, the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, signs with the Buccaneers. DeAndre Hopkins, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, just got traded because him and his coach don't get along. Coach/GM don't get along. He just gets traded to the Cardinals. So now Kyler Murray has DeAndre Hopkins right there, and Larry Fitzgerald. So I mean, I think that Kyler Murray's gonna have some great numbers next year. Whatever. And I was gonna say whenever they play, because we really don't know. But I'm just gonna treat it as if this is happening. And what Hopkins just got traded for some picks. I mean, and if you have a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, why are you giving away one of the best wide receivers in the league? It's just a kind of crazy notion. But Bill O'Brien, is known for being insane. So that's kind of what that's all about. I don't know about insane, but not great. How about that? I'll say that. So yeah, that's it's a wild situation. I personally, I think I was listening to a lot of people talk about this Bears situation with Foles. Like I said, I'm not excited for it. I have this feeling, though. Like I said, I think they're going to split time. They're both going to start games. And I do feel like if the Bears can find a way to squeak in the playoffs now, I mean, you got to remember now there's an extra playoff spot. So there's an extra wild card seed now that they've expanded. And there's also an extra game of the season. So the season's 17 games. So I think I just said they're going to split games between the 16, no, split between the 17. If you're going to take one, who's going to start more? Who's going to start more? Foles or Mitch? Because now there's no 8 and 8. Can't split. It's 9 or 7. I'd say Foles, but I think Mitch will start a couple games as long as they keep both on the roster unless we trade them. If we sneak in the playoffs and Foles comes in and, it's Big Dick Nick slinging his thing, doing it in the clutch, maybe we make some noise. Super Bowl, I'm Super Bowl Super Bears. Let's just predict it right now. Super Bowl Super Bears. That would be wild. But yeah, there's been a lot of noise going on. Chase Daniel signed with the Lions. That's pretty important. So let's say Nick Foles starts, right? It's $21 million what he costs. Mitch costs like 4 or 5. I mean, you got to look at it and be like, you'd made this trade for this guy. Don't you think he's going to start? I don't know. Some people think it's actually a really good insurance plan for Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy in the sense that they're not really all in or all out either way. They kind of just say, but this is a Matt Nagy guy. Matt Nagy has worked with Foles before. Foles is familiar with the offense. I think Foles is going to end up starting some games. I think he's going to end up being the starter. I think Mitch will be gone before we know it. And the experiment that Ryan Pace had with the number 2 pick where he failed is going to be over before we know it, I think. I think that is going to be the case. It's, unless Mitch makes some crazy, crazy turnaround, but I just don't see it. Maybe though. He doesn't make the right reads. He doesn't have the right throws. I mean, we've gone over this for the whole season, so I don't really know. Speaking of gone over this for the whole season, I just found out before this call that the NFL and the NBA are now making their streaming packages for free for during this coronavirus thing. So they're going to play old games and stuff, and we can just watch them. So this is pretty good. This is pretty good because we can just go back and watch some film. I don't really want to watch any Bears games from this season. That was frustrating. We can go back and watch some film. Oh, man. So before I get into my next phone call, that was just a little quick Bears rant. I'm going to ask my next caller about this Bears situation as well. But before I get into it, I just want to mention, like, during that phone call with Frankie, I briefly said, like, how are your parents treating it? And he said his parents were taking it seriously. I was a little frustrated myself. I don't know if anybody can relate to this because I felt like my dad particularly wasn't really taking it that serious, and like, I mean, he's been through a lot. He came from Cuba, he saw revolution, so he's like, whatever. And he's like, it reminds him of communism when everybody's telling him stay inside and shit. So I try to understand that, and I really wasn't gonna like say much about that because I'm like, I'm not calling him out. Not that he listens to this, but I'm not trying to call out my dad for not taking it serious. But I was listening to this podcast this morning that I always listen to. You Made It Weird, Pete Holmes. I've referenced him so many times on the show, and he was talking about how his dad was just like complaining about going to Dunkin' Donuts and how he can't go to Dunkin' Donuts and how he's not taking it that serious, and that's like the biggest concern for him. And I just like related so hard because like that my dad's been complaining about McDonald's and how he can't go in and he can just drive through. And it's like when you get older, those are the things that matter. But I related so hard because like it reminded me like, oh, that's the reason that you do share these stories, like because somebody like him who's got a bigger platform than me, he shared that story and it reminded me about it, and it made me feel like, oh yeah, see, I'm with other people that are going through this, where it's like, you're concerned about your folks and they're not taking it serious and things like that. So it reminded me why I share things and why people, that have a bigger platform share things. Cause then it makes you feel like, yeah, see, like that's the same shit that I'm dealing with. Like, what the fuck? Like we're all in this together. As I take a sip of my drink. All right. I am gonna well, before I make the call, let me send a text real quick to make sure that was going through. Sorry for the pause right there, guys. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I think my folks are taking it somewhat serious. Everybody's trying to stay inside, but it's obviously older people that are more affected by this whole situation. And that's why it's so selfish of younger people to just say that shit. Like older people are a population. I mean, shit, people that are passing away that are 60, 70, you know what I mean? And like, shit, you might have 20, 30, 40 years left right there. So don't minimize that. And then all these young people going out and just not. I mean, in Chicago, St. Patrick's Day, or that weekend at least, was still packed at the bars, and that's what forced the governor to really and the mayor to make a hard call on closing the bars and restaurants, because they were just pissed at everybody going out and just basically ignoring and not taking this shit serious. When it's gonna spread, it's gonna get worse. Everybody's saying we're 10 days behind Italy, who ended up being on a full lockdown and all sorts of fucked up, So it's crazy. I'm trying not to. I'm like I said, I'm somewhat prepared for the quarantine. I got stuff I could do. You know what I mean? I got music here, but I've been organizing this, and I got the studio back together, and I'm gonna be releasing a bunch of projects, like I was saying. So I'm good. I think it's important for people to stop, stay still, and I've said this before. I think one of the keys, I've heard this, is one of the keys to happiness in life is being happy with being alone, or being good with being alone, being content with being alone. It's one of the hardest things to do, especially in a society like today where you're always surrounded by people. But it's one of the keys to happiness. And this, we're going to have a real big test at that right now, over these next couple of weeks, as long as people listen. And it is extremely important for that to happen. I mean, listen, I'm concerned about family members. Like I said, my parents, but my grandmother is at a nursing home, and I can only go see her. I can't even go see her right now. And frankly, that's the right move. We don't know. I don't even know if I have it. We might all have it. Like these numbers are going up. I heard the numbers went up by like 2,000 overnight, and they're going to keep going up because the tests are just started. So, I mean, we just got to all be careful and be smart and not selfish. And that's what has been so frustrating and troublesome about this entire thing. Yeah, man. So I got some NBA stuff I'm going to talk about. So like I said, I'm waiting for this response to make this phone call to have some things. But I think I'm going to leave some NBA things for actually a whole nother episode because I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a special where I we don't have sports, so I'm doing a special a series of episodes where I do some basketball shit with the NBA. But before I do mention that, or before I get into that in the next episode, the one NBA thing I want to talk about. Obviously, this season's at a halt. The season's stopped. We don't know what's going to happen here. I just want to say, hypothetically speaking, if the Bulls season is done, right? I'm going to talk about this as a Bulls fan, right? If the Bulls season is done, they finish the season at 22-43, right? 21 games below 500, and not a couple games out of the eighth playoff seed. Not a good team, just bad, right? But here's what I want to say. Is this going to be an excuse for the Paxson, Foreman, Boylan regime to live on? Like it got cut short. We were just about to turn the corner. Like, is this going to be, I mean, I'm not looking at it as a selfish Bulls fan here. Well, I am, but I'm trying not to. I'm just trying to find something to talk about here. But I'm also thinking in my head, like, I could totally see this being a way out for them, being like, the season got cut short. Look, we don't really know what we got. We're going to give Boylan another shot and just run it back. Because, everybody was hurt. Everybody was injured. Like, I could just totally see it. It's making me vomit in my mouth already. So let's hope that is not the case. Ugh. Oh, man. Well, with that being said, the Bulls finished at 22-43. I mean, a team like that, see, the other teams need, might have needed those last 17 games to finish up. A team like the Bulls, they don't need those last. What is the point in that? Wait, they were 22-43, so 65. There's 17 games. Yeah, they don't need those last 17 games. No point in that at all. Nothing useful is gonna come out of that. Maybe an injury or two. But yeah, I mean, Kobe White started his first game the night before the NBA season got postponed with the Rudy Gobert thing. And with that being said, last week's episode, I mean, this coronavirus situation has been obviously changing by the minute, by the hour, by the day. I mean, just dramatically. So I recorded last week's episode knowing things were probably going to change. And then like a couple hours after I recorded and put it up, the NBA thing happens and then Rudy Gobert. And actually, no, I had recorded it. And then I was trying to upload it, but something was going wrong with the upload. And then it didn't get uploaded till after this news had come out. So I had to like put in the notes, like, this was recorded before that. So, I mean, it didn't even sound that relevant. It's hard. It was hard with something like this that's ever changing to do something like that, Oh man, it's just crazy stuff. But, yeah. I got some stuff that I was trying to watch here. So that's what I was going to do, a what to watch segment. Actually, I'm going to include my guest when I get him on the hotline. But, the one thing I did watch that I almost want to say don't watch is the movie called The Breakout. Is trending on Netflix, obviously, right now for some kind of obvious reasons. With this, the two things trending are Pandemic and The Breakout. The Breakout is this movie from '95 with Morgan Freeman and Dustin Hoffman, and they're trying to treat this disease that gets to America through a monkey from, I think, a country in Africa, if I remember correctly. It's crazy though, because there's like so many like things that you could talk about that come to nowadays with it. But I was just, the next day I was kind of tripping about it because I was like, fuck, we're going through all this and that just happened. I'm like, I shouldn't have watched that bullshit. But that's obviously an exaggeration. But my thing about originally I was telling people like kind of jokingly, like, haven't we seen enough of these zombie movies to know like this shit is real? We should be reacting like blah, blah, blah. But what I came to a realization is I think more than that is, I think we have seen so many movies in these zombie movies so that we think that it's going to look a certain way. We're expecting this shit to look like, way dramatically worse than it is. And so maybe we're not responding right now because we don't, it's like, let me see it to believe it type shit. And that's just like how America is and how these people are, how the kids are. Like, I don't understand because like that, I don't know. That's where my theory is going. It's like, we're not like, at first it was like, haven't we seen this movie? We should know. And now it's evolved to like, oh, we have seen this movie and it doesn't look how we thought it would look. So we don't believe it. It's like the boy who cried wolf type shit. Like, but we have the craziest thing is like America, we're the biggest country, the best country, and like we have all these examples of other countries before us that this shit happened to before it even hit here, and we still like we're like thinking it's not gonna hit us type shit, and then blah blah, there it goes. Just yeah, I don't know what to say. I except for stay your ass in the fucking crib. Try not to. Don't be selfish. Like yeah, I know you might not get sick. Like I'm not expecting for myself to get very sick. Maybe I will get sick. I don't know. But I'm trying to not be selfish, and I'm really trying not to expose myself to other people. I really am. With that being said, I'm gonna give a call on the hotline. Let's see. We're gonna shout out to my good friend Mark, who stays out on the West Coast, so he's in LA. So I want to get a little reaction and see how things are going for him out there on the West Coast. Oh yeah, I love having this, man. This thing is great. It's really gonna add to the show. Oh yeah. Let's see. We're gonna talk about quarantining life. He's got children, so this is kind of tough. It's kind of tough to organize this. I told him it was gonna be like a 5-minute call.
Hello, you've reached Mark.
Oh.
Please leave your name and number.
All right, we're gonna cancel. We're not gonna leave him a voicemail. All right, we didn't get through. That's okay. That's all right. We're all good. So I'm just gonna keep rambling until he texts back. No, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, no, those were things I wanted to say. I mean, like, I don't want to preach about the coronavirus. I don't think you're coming to me for your news about the coronavirus. I highly doubt that. But maybe you are, if you listen to me regularly or anything like that. And I want you to know that I'm on the side of precaution, and because we don't really know what the fuck we're dealing with. I know everybody's saying the media is taking it overblown. They don't want to be controlled by the media. But you know what? I mean, the best thing I've heard is like, look, we know if we underreact, we can say, oh, we might have reacted too strongly. Maybe we didn't need to do all that. Maybe we can do all that. But it'll be hard to tell if we overreact. Like, you can't really put it. But if we underreact, you will be able to tell immediately. That is how you know. If that is how we fail, that is how people die. That is how that knows. It is much more visually obvious when we underperform, and is in a situation like this. So yeah, looking like you're overreacting. Stop trying to be cool. Like, who gives a fuck? Overreact, right? Now's the time to overreact. Now is the time to overreact. We have never dealt with something like this. Look at me going crazy. But anyways, with that being said, like on the artist side, like I had a show that I was kind of getting booked for, and people were texting about it. I had to, in all honesty, and this is my advice that I would give to people, is you got to remember, look, these events matter and these shows matter, but you got to remember, like, your brand, if you want to be in this long term and the longevity, like, your brand is associated with these things. So like, I had to text somebody and be like, I don't feel comfortable promoting something, even if it's like in 2 months, like right now, because the energy and everything, not the energy, the public advice that we're giving out is for people to not go out and to not do things. And until that changes, I just don't want to be involved with promoting anything like that, because it's your long-term brand. Like, people can look back and be like, oh, you remember that dude? Not even that they remember, it's really how you feel. But also they can look back. But for me, it's just how I really felt, is like, I'm not even gonna, the energy is wrong to even be promoting anything like that. I think what we got to do is just make content and promote that, and try to get people to watch that content while they're in the crib and all that stuff. And yeah, and that's what I'm gonna do. Like I said, I got a video project that I'm gonna be dropping probably this week, maybe next week. No, I don't know. I'm not gonna give a specific date, but that's gonna come out. And then I got some music that's definitely dropping during this time here. So stay tuned. And with that said, unfortunately, we didn't get Mark on the hotline, but we are gonna wrap this up a little bit. I want to say thank you to Frankie for being the first guest on the Passion Park Hotline. That was very much appreciated there. Try to get this. Oh, there it is. Figure out this volume. Yeah, sorry. Figured out this board right here I got here, but it's amazing. But shout out to Frankie for being the first guest on the Passion Park ENT Hotline and for the David Lopez show. I am really excited to be here. I'm excited to be putting out episodes. It's obviously a very interesting time. But everybody stay safe. Be precautious. Do the right thing. Don't Don't expose yourself to too much shit. Don't put people in danger. All right, just do what you gotta do. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The David Lopez Show, presented by Passion Park ENT. Go to www.thedavidlopez.com. Go to passionparkent.com for all that good stuff. And one love, guys. Appreciate you.